Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is the best time. It is TBR game time. Today we are gonna play the fall edition of Library Card. Library Card is a TBR game that I've been playing seasonally on my channel for about a year, but I thought it was time to switch it up and we're only gonna play for the month of October in this video. Before we get started, if you can all hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I do lots of bookish content, mostly reviews, but I also play TBR games and do a lot of wrap-ups and suggestion lists and things like that, so subscribe for all your bookish content. Now before we can play the new game, let's go over how terribly I did in the last round for summer. Way back in July, I played my previous round of Library Card. I played for a 3-month summer season, and because I hadn't finished my spring TBR, I had to start the game with a late find, and you all saw was the worst late find possible, that being long books only, no books under 500 pages. As you can imagine, I did not win. This did not go well. This went so terribly that in the month of September, I threw out my summer TBR entirely and just played Magical Readathon. But let's go ahead and review what I did manage to read. The first roll for my summer TBR game landed me on nonfiction, and for that I chose Has a Building or a Skyline on the cover, and for that I chose 1491 by Charles C. Mann, and I did not read this. For my second roll, I landed on mystery and chose the prompt published between 1970 and 1990, and for this I chose Christine by Stephen King, and I did read this. For my third roll, I landed on mystery again and chose W title, and for that I chose The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, but I did not read this. For my fourth roll, I landed on magical realism and chose a book set at sea or underwater, and for that I chose The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, and I did read this. I really liked it. For my fifth roll, I landed on magical realism again and chose the prompt Has a Person or People on the cover, and for that I chose Carnivale of Curiosities by Amiee Gibbs, but I did not read this. Feeling kinda every other at this moment. Roll number 6, I landed on folklore and chose a U title, and for this I read The United States of Cryptids by J.W. Ocker, and surprisingly I did read this. For my seventh roll, I landed on literary fiction and chose Has an Insect, Butterfly, or Spider on the cover, and for this I chose Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, and I did read this. 5 stars, so good. For my eighth roll, I landed on TBR jar and pulled The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I did not read this one. For roll number 9, I landed on classic and chose I title, and for that I chose The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky, but I did not get to this one. For my 10th roll, I landed on TBR jar again and pulled 9 Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty, but I didn't get to this one either. Roll number 11 landed me on historical fiction. For this I chose Time Travel, and no surprise that I didn't read this brick. The Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon, did not get to that one. Roll number 12, because when you're reading 500-page books, why can't you have a small number? I landed on literary fiction again and pulled the card for urban setting, and for that I chose The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, but no surprise, didn't do that one. For my 13th roll, I landed on nonfiction, and originally I had chosen a different book for a D title, but I ended up switching it out for The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson, and I did read this. For my 14th, I think, roll, I landed on horror and pulled the card for anthology, and for this I chose Hearts in Atlantis by Stephen King, but did not read this. And for my 15th and thankfully final roll, I landed on historical fiction and pulled a K title, and that would be Katherine by Anya Seton, but I did not read this one either. That is a terrible and dismal score, and yes, I am deeply ashamed of myself and deserve all the punishments. Now, I did add some more punishment cards, late finds as we call them here, to my deck, so hopefully we'll get something a little bit more lenient than a 500-page only book limit, which is out of the deck until next year. It will go back in the deck in January, but for now, it is safely out of the deck. So I did make a special board for October, for fall. I think I'm gonna make a seasonal board for at least the next couple of months, because the seasonal TBRs of 3 months really haven't been working out for me, so I thought I'd shake it up and try something different. So I made a more friendly board. There are 30 squares on the new board, so I do still get plenty of books to read, but this way I'm able to change out the genres to something I'm feeling a little bit more inclined to read, rather than getting stuck with a bunch of literary fiction when I'm really burnt out on it. For this particular fall edition in October for spooky season, you can see lots of spooky things on the board, and I'm just going to quickly review what these squares mean before we get into gameplay. So we do still have some classic squares that you may recognize. The purple castle is fantasy, the blue ship is historical nonfiction, the dark blue magnifying glass is mystery, the red knife is thriller, this pink jar is the TBR jar. This dark purple crescent moon is magical realism. The green book is classic. The orange girl chilling with her coffee, as we all hope to be in fall, is for a cozy read. The light purple with the witch is a witchy book. The dark red with the vampire fangs is a vampire book. The orange is a graphic novel. The kind of tannish color with the pumpkin is a fall read. The light silver with a werewolf is a werewolf read. The black with the kind of spooky house there is haunted house or a gothic novel. Then you have the ghost here, which has always represented horror. So those are the genres that we are going to be playing with for this month. I will change them out probably every month for the next few months as we go forward with this shorter game. And hopefully I'll actually be able to finish a TBR for once, because them late finds be brutal, you guys. Alright, let's get into gameplay. Starting off with our late find, because we have established I absolutely gave up on my summer TBR. So let's pull our late find. Add a duology to your TBR. Alrighty then, shall do. Kicking off the game right with a very deserved late find. That late find is going to be one of our new ones, and that is to add a duology to your TBR. And the duology that I chose is the Monk and Robot series by Becky Chambers. There are 2 books in this duology. That's kind of what a duology is. So I have a Psalm for the Wild Build and a Prayer for the Crown Shy, both by Becky Chambers. They're short novellas of the sci-fi dystopian persuasion, a little bit of fantasy, heard cozy vibes. So I think this is a doable duology. All right, let's go ahead and pull our prompt cards. We're going to do the same as always, our 5 and then adding the 6th prompt card, even though the game is shorter. We have A title, G title, 500 to 700 pages, not really looking forward to that. Published between 2010 and 2019, and has fire on the cover. We in frame. Move up. All right. And we are rolling an 8-sided dice. When I was playing with the 6-sided dice, I was ending up with 8 and 9 books, and I know that is more than I can do. So we're gonna see if the 8-sided dice will help, and whatever happens, happens. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thriller. P title. Well, let's see what kind of thrillers I have. Roll number 1, I have landed on Thriller, and I will be using the A title prompt for A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I have had this on my TBR for several years. I really need to get to it. I feel a little guilty looking at it, and I know it is something of a teenage mystery. A friend has died. What happened to this friend kind of mystery thriller. I don't know a lot about it, but you don't want to know a lot about a mystery thriller going in. All right, roll number 2. 2. 1, 2. A vampire book. Perfect. Next card is a C title. Let's see. I did pull a stack of vampire books. Let's see which one works. Roll number 2, and I have landed on Vampire, my very favorite space on this board. And for this, I chose the prompt has fire on the cover. And for this, I will be reading Dead as a Doornail by Charlaine Harris. This is the 5th book in the Southern Vampire Mystery series. I have a lot of fun reading these books. They're like little snacks for my soul. I loved the True Blood show. I love vampires. I am so excited to put this one on the TBR. Roll number 3. 3. This extra bigger dice is not helping. 1, 2, 3. A classic. I did pull a stack of those also with an academic setting. Very fall. Let's see. Roll number 3, and I have landed on classic, and for this I will be using the P title and reading The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, a classic horror. I have never read this book. It has evaded me for several years sitting on my shelf. I know it revolves around the titular character Dorian Gray, who has somehow managed to keep his youth via a mirror. So I don't know the whole story. I've never seen the movie. I'm very excited to read this gothic classic. My favorite horror classic is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, but maybe this will unthrone it. Despite getting more books than I was thinking I would get, this TBR is looking real good to me. Roll number 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A werewolf book. Loving the creature features. Has an orange cover. These ones do not. Let me see. Roll number 4 has landed me on werewolf, and I chose the C title card, and for this I will be reading Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King. This is a very short graphic novel, but I didn't have a whole lot of werewolf books to choose from, but it felt really wrong to leave them out of spooky season, so I'm glad this will be a nice, quick werewolf read. Roll number 5. 8. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A historical book. A male author. Roll number 5, and I have landed on historical. For this, I will be reading a book published between 2010 and 2019. This book was published in 2015, and that is The Witches, Salem 1692 by Stacy Schiff. This will detail, of course, the Salem witch trials and its legacy. I did a research paper on the Salem witch trials in my 9th grade AP English class, so diving back into a little bit of a witchy book is a lot of fun this time of year. Roll number 6. 1. A mystery. Snow or ice on the cover. Not this time of year, dude. Roll number 6, and I have landed on mystery, and I will be using the male author prompt. And for this, I will be choosing Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I needed something for Buzzwordathon and also the cover prompt for Buzzwordathon for a violent word and weapons on the cover, and I think killed and all these weapons do just fine for that prompt. It is, again, a mystery. I don't know much about it, but I'm assuming a family of serial killers. Good luck. Roll number 7, and even though I used a bigger dice, I still have 9 books anyway. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cozy book. With food on the cover, maybe. Let's see what we have for cozy. Roll number 7, and I have landed on the cozy square and chosen has an orange cover. And for this, I will be reading Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookshop by Emmeline Duncan. This is a cozy mystery series that centers around Halloween. What could be better this time of year? I am super excited to read something cozy. After reading Legends and Lattes last month and really enjoying those cozy vibes, I'm hoping to enjoy these ones as well. Roll number 8. 2. 1, 2. Color in the title. Rule number 8, and I have landed on werewolf again. Of course, I don't have too many books, but this one will have to do. And I have chosen has food on the cover for this prompt, and I'm going to be reading Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. That is some raw meat right there on the cover. I know she turns into a dog. I don't necessarily know if it's a werewolf book, but close enough. We will make this work. I know it's about a suburban mom who's having issues transitioning in her life, so I am excited to see the show. I love Amy Adams, so I can't wait to read this book. Roll number 9. Please don't be a 1. 5. We done. And you know, that's not a bad stack. For having 10 books in it, this is a pretty good, manageable stack. You know, all these books are pretty short except for the witches. It's pretty manageable. Maybe, perhaps I don't have to pull another punishment next month. Perhaps, maybe, please. And that's it for this game. I hope that you didn't mind this new shorter format. The game is a lot quicker, but even though I rolled a d8, I got 10 books, and usually the max I can do is 7, so we'll see how we can make this work. I hope you all enjoyed hanging out with me today. Thanks for playing, and come back and see some more. Like, subscribe, come back, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!